You guys, summer is over. And if you're anything like me, you're starting to think about all of the gift knits that you want to give to the people that you love. And simultaneously, you're also starting to think about how many days left until Christmas. Those little how many days left till Christmas tickers make me extremely anxious. And so today, I'm going to share 3 really special gift items that you can knit up for coworkers, friends, loved ones. 2 of the projects are super easy, less than 1 skein projects, and the third is a little more complicated, but very doable and still a 1 skein project. So grab a cup of something warm if you're in a cooler environment, and join me today as we go through my Christmas gift knitting ideas for this season. And welcome to the Clarity Fiber Arts podcast. My name is Jody, and I am the owner and dyer behind Clarity Fiber Arts. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I thank you so much for returning to give my new little podcast a look-see. And I sincerely hope that you find its content enjoyable and informative, and that you can learn something new. I can be found on the internet as Clarity Fiber Arts on both Facebook and Instagram. And I also have a little Etsy shop under Clarity Fiber Arts where I sell my hand-dyed yarn, primarily sock yarn. And I also sell accessories made from that yarn, which I create on my circular sock machine. I sell hats, mitts, and socks that I'm able to crank on that machine. So with that said, welcome one more time. And as promised, today we are going to talk about Christmas knits, Christmas gift knits specifically. The summer is over, and I am very sad about the fact that the summer is over. I'm well aware that the summer is over because I have my first cold of the season, and so I apologize for the nasal sounding quality of my voice. However, we're gonna push through because Christmas is coming. And it makes me very anxious. And so right around this time of year, right after Labor Day, I would say, I start thinking about Christmas gift knitting, whether or not I even want to do any Christmas gift knitting. But honestly, I can't resist. I loved to knit gifts for people. I love to gift them socks that I make on my machine, hats that I make, things like that. However, I also like to do a bit of hand knitting. There aren't, I can't do everything on my circular sock machine. And so the goal of today's episode is just to share a few things that I have found recently. They're sort of acquisitions of sorts. And hopefully provide you with some insight on to some of these fun knits that I found and that I fully intend to gift to various people in my life, and hope that they appreciate them. Okay, so let's get started. The first knit that I have, the first item that I have to show you is a soap sack kit. It's not a very good way to show it here. Okay, soap sack kit. Okay, and in this, I picked this up at my local yarn shop. That yarn shop is called the Speckled Sheep. I live not too far from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And so we have a large Amish and Mennonite population, and once you get into Lancaster County, it's a very tourist populated area, very popular for tourists to come and visit and learn about the Amish and Mennonite style of life. There's lots of farms, there's lots of flower stands, there's lots of farmers markets, all the things that I adore, craft stores out the wazoo, and yarn shops. So two of my favorite yarn shops are in that location, and I picked this soap sack kit up at the Speckled Sheep, which I will link in the description box below. They do have an online store, and so if you like this particular kit, you can order it through their online shop on the link that I will provide. So basically what you get is this nice little bag that I will probably use to re-gift the item once it's knitted. And in that bag is a lovely bar of soap that is sort of marbleized in nature. The scent is blackberry vanilla. Sorry, I had it upside down. Excuse me. It smells delicious. It's made with lots of different oils, coconut, olive oil, palm oil, and a little bit of fragrance to have it smell good. And then also included in the kit is a small skein of, I believe this is silk yarn. Yes, this says original silk yarn. And it's just a small skein, enough to knit the soap sack, and I will link a picture next door here to the soap sacks. I think they're super cute. And again, this is hemp yarn. Yeah, perfect for using around a bar of soap. It will not break down when it gets wet and soapy, and it has the classic hemp texture that you may or may not be familiar with. It's a little difficult to knit with. This is a really thin yarn though. And you're not knitting for very long because you're only knitting a soap sack. And so the hemp yarn, the texture, the rough texture, also serves to provide a little bit of mild exfoliation. And so you knit the sack, put the soap in there. It's got a nice little drawstring on it, as you can see. And then the recipient can use that to sort of not only hold their soap and keep it up and out of water, but they can rub on their skin with the soap, and it provides a little bit of exfoliation too. And so I thought this was a perfect gift to knit up for teachers, your mailman, anybody who, you know, you would just like to show a little appreciation to beyond a card at the Christmas holidays. And so I plan on knitting many of these. I purchased the kit. However, after I purchased the kit, I went on to Ravelry and discovered many soap sack patterns. And so you can also go that route as well. But included in this kit is a nice little pattern for both knit and crochet. And so, yeah, I thought it was super, super cute. Everything was included, and it will make a nice little gift knit. So that's the soap sack that is gift knit number 1, and by far the easiest of all 3 that I'm going to show today. But yeah, if you want to get started on those now, you could, you know, I probably will knit about 10 of them before the Christmas holidays, just so I have something. I mean, you never know when you have to go to a party or something, and you just need to, as you're running out the door, you realize you don't have anything to take, and you can take one of those nice little soap sacks, and they can either display it in a washroom or use it in the shower. So I thought those were nice. The next item that I have is a mitt. And so we've all seen these, but this one in particular is called the Lambing Mitt, and it is by Tolt Yarn and Wool. It is a free pattern put out by them on their blog area of their website, and I will link their website below. And I'll talk a little bit about the yarn I used in this project as well that I picked up at a yarn shop in Doylestown. But I really like these mitts because the pattern is super, super simple, and yet it's got a texture throughout the mitt. And then when you're wearing the mitt, I'm sorry, let me take a sip of my pineapple juice. Did you know that pineapple juice can help with coughing and a tickling in your throat? And I didn't really believe it until I tried it, and I've been sipping on pineapple juice all week. Yeah, so back to these, the lambing mitts, they have this really nice texture on the front. And so they don't just look like, you know, a simple stockinette or garter stitch. They've got a little bit of interest. It's a super easy 2-row repeat. You just knit a row, and then you do a row of 2x2 rib essentially, and you just continue on. And so it's relatively mindless knitting. I knit these in one evening while we were hanging out watching our Phils. Go Phils. We're getting into the playoffs for sure. Yeah, so I just found them to be cool because they have this other little area, and they talk about it on the website, and I love stories behind things, but they created these mitts during lambing season, and the workers there needed the ability to stay warm. And so sometimes I find fingerless mitts generally hit you about here and don't really kind of keep the tips of your fingers warm. The goal is to keep them out and keep them usable. However, what they did with these is just they extended the pattern. They gave you another row of garter, another 4 inches of garter stitch. And so these can be pulled up over your fingers to keep them a little more warm when you don't really need access to your fingers. And then when you do, you can just fold these mitts down, and there they are, and they're super cute. It used, I believe, 100 yards of worsted weight yarn. The yarn that I used for this pattern, I saved the tag, was Woolfolk yarn. It does not have a colorway name. The colorway is L6. And you get 109 yards in 50 grams. I thought it was kind of a cool yarn. Let's see if I can show you here this crap. Oh, there goes my dog. Apologize for that too. That's Fig, by the way, that I talk about all the time. So here's the yarn. It's got a fuzzy sort of texture. And it's sort of like tubular in construction, and then it has like a fuzzy halo, but then a sort of variegated, almost a web-like patterning to it, and it just produces this really nice subtle variegation and gives a little bit of interest to this pattern. And so I think the combination of the yarn and the pattern make a really nice mitt, especially for a guy. I love the color, and I think, you know, there's no lace work or anything on here. It's just that simple pattern. And so, like I said, I knit relatively fast. I'd say medium fast. But I did one knit in one night, probably about 2 hours worth of knitting while watching television and intermittently getting up to get a snack. And so that in my mind is pretty quick. You could also knit a couple of these up before the Christmas season. So that is gift knit number 2, Fingerless Mitts. Nothing new there, but I just think Fingerless Mitts are the bomb. And I think this particular pattern just gives a little bit of texture and a little bit of interest, and they look especially nice, and they have that nice feature of coming up over the fingers a little bit too to keep those babies warm when you are out and about. So I will link the pattern below, and that is Wool Folk Yarn, and the pattern is from Tolt Wool and Yarn. And then gift knit number 3 is something that I have knit probably 3 or 4 years ago now, but it's one of my most worn items, and I love this knit. It is knit in fingerless, I have fingerless on the brain, fingering weight yarn, one skein. It is a one skein project. And I love this knit because as things just start to get a little chilly, I turn to thinking about this to keep my neck warm. It is the Birds and Ships Cowl, and this cowl is by Caitlin Hunter. And again, I just think that this cowl knits up so fast. It's got this cool garter, most of it is garter stitch. It's got a cool garter top, moves on to stockinette, and then it has a lace pattern right down the middle and a little bit of ribbing. Like, I just think it has everything. And then I'm a tassel girl. I don't know about you, but I love tassels and pom-poms and all of those frilly little things, but you certainly would not need to put this on. You could knit it without the tassel, but like I said, I just love it. And again, I think this took me less than a week, if I can remember. And it's something I wear again and again. I think it's very universal. I'm gonna go ahead and slip it on for you just to kind of show you how cute it looks. So it's knit in fingering weight yarn, and I just love the fact that you can kind of, like, sometimes I wear it as a turtleneck. I can wear a crew neck sweater and just sort of wear this. And so I wear this under my coat. Gosh, I love this so much. I miss it. When the fall comes, it's one of the things that I'm happy to see, even in my sadness. Yeah, so I wear this over a crew neck sweater if it's chilly at work. I even just kind of keep it on at work, but it looks equally nice like under a coat. It just sort of fills in that area at the neckline of the coat, and I just think it showcases the lace pattern right in the front. And yeah, there's just not enough good things to say about this. And so again, it's probably a week's worth of knitting, a one skein project. I think it really looks good with this lightly variegated yarn. I have knit this for a friend in my own hand-dyed yarn that had a little more variegation in it, and I will tell you, in that experience, that I prefer it in something a little more solid. Maybe it's because this is gray and I love gray, but yeah, it definitely turned out great, and she loves it. She also wears it all the time, and practically every fall kind of sends me a quick text and with her wearing it and telling me how much she loves it. But I will say that the variegated yarn doesn't suit this pattern as well. So yeah, that's the Birds and Ships by Caitlin Hunter. It is a paid for pattern. On Ravelry, I believe it is about $5. So love that one, but am going to take it off right now because it is still quite hot. in these here parts. Okay, so don't want to overwhelm you. The last thing you need is a video reminding you that Christmas is coming, talking about Christmas gift knits, and then showing you 700 gift knits to choose from. So those are my three. As far as tips and tricks go with gift knitting, I try and limit myself to 3 items that I will gift for that particular Christmas season. And I try and stick to those patterns as much as I can, despite the fact that I am heavily distracted by other patterns on Ravelry and other various, knitting sites, and then knitting podcasts enable me. That's a whole other realm. And so just wanted to give you a couple of gift knitting ideas and hope that I inspire you to get out there and knit some gifts and give them to the lucky recipients in your family. So that's about it. I'm going to link another soap sack pattern in the show notes below. I'll insert a picture here. And I think that's all I'm going to say today. I am actually off to Lancaster County to do some market shopping and some grocery purchases and things. And so maybe I will insert some footage here at the end of this beautiful area. I just love, it makes grocery shopping so much nicer when you can go out and stop at a roadside stand and purchase eggs and produce and things from the wonderful farmers that farm there. And I will inevitably stop at a roadside stand for some flowers. It is a Friday and I love to purchase flowers for viewing over the weekend. So yeah, it's been great chatting with you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.